Welcome back to She Will Empower. I'm your host, Jessica Cherry. I'm a strategic intervention and empowerment coach, an NLP practitioner, an empowerment community director, a certified sound bath practitioner, and your Tuesday morning wake up club host on 94.3 KWVH Wimberley Valley Radio, where we bring real talk, real tools, and real empowerment straight to the airwaves. And if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. Now, today's episode is one that I heavily was taught when I was going through the strategic intervention coaching program taught by Tony Robbins. It is so good, and it really gets you thinking about how you live your daily life and the influences that you have around you, your vices, both good and bad. And so, after you have heard this podcast episode, you are going to naturally want to take a look at your own life and see how these six human needs affect you and how you are meeting them. So, you might want to save this episode if you are on the move because it is loaded. This is going to be such a loaded episode. So, before we begin talking about human needs, I want you to arrive in your body. So, what does that mean? It means if you're driving, soften your jaw. If you're walking, slow your breath. And if you're sitting, feel the surface beneath you because we're diving in. This episode is not meant to rush you, it's meant to meet you. Because most people don't struggle because they lack discipline or drive. No, they struggle because they don't understand why they kept choosing the same things over and over, why they keep choosing what they choose, especially over and over again, right? Or why they are in these weird self sabotaging patterns they keep repeating over and over again. And once you understand the why, your mind's eye starts to see the situation and your life in a totally different way. So let me say this clearly before we go any further. Because once you learn these six human needs, you may feel like, oh, okay, that's why it makes sense why I'm doing that over and over again. Or you can say, I get it. That's why I keep going back to the same situation. So listen, you are not self sabotaging. You are not broken. You are not failing at life. So don't start to think that once you learn these things. I had to come to terms with these myself too. For example, I have said to myself, I did what I did at the time I did it with the knowledge that I had at the time and make peace with it and move on freely. And that's what I want here for you today. So you are being loyal to the needs that were formed long before you had language for them. And today we're going to name them. So this episode might feel uncomfortable at times, but I promise it's for your own good. And not because anything is wrong, but because awareness stretches the mind and the nervous system. And when awareness stretches, patterns loosen because we are consciously watching what we do and how we do it. So essentially, we are waking up. So let's talk about the framework. Every human behavior, every habit, every single pattern, every repeated choice, they're all driven by the need to feel safe, alive, connected, valued, evolving, meaningful, all the things. These six needs are not personality traits. They are biological and emotional survival mechanisms that we have developed along our way in life. And everyone has a different history and different past experiences. And here is the most important thing to understand: you will meet these needs no matter what. And let me say it again. No matter what, these needs are human needs. So if you don't meet them consciously, you will meet them unconsciously. If you don't meet them in a healthy way, you will meet them destructively. But either way, it's going to be met. It's just what lane you're traveling on to get there. Okay. The nervous system does not judge, it only prioritizes survival and familiarity. So let's get into it. Need one is certainty. It is the need that makes you feel, I need to know that I will be okay. Certainty is about safety. It's the need for predictability, stability, and control. The human need of certainty asks, will I be safe? Will I survive? Will the ground beneath me just disappear on me? It is the basic human need. I'm going to be alive and everything's okay and everything's going to be safe. That is certainty. And this need is strongest when you grew up in chaos, like an unstable home or around any type of instability or violence. You get the picture here. You grew up in chaos. Or you've experienced emotional unpredictability. That is a really important one. Or you had to grow up fast and didn't get to experience safety as long as you should have. Or you've learned that stability was not guaranteed, like the rug beneath you just was ripped and it was ripped more times than it should have. So, certainty doesn't mean you want things to be boring. No, this is not, I love the boring life. Yay. No, it's not that. Which, if you do, it's totally fine. That is certainty. It means that your nervous system wants relief and something that's stable and something that you can depend on that is gonna be there. You're certain it's gonna be there, like the roof over your head or the food on your table, the job you go to work to, the paycheck that you get every 2 weeks or every month. That is certainty. Now, let's talk about real life certainty patterns. So, some real life certainty patterns, you might meet certainty by staying in relationships that feel familiar even when they hurt you, or staying in jobs that drain you completely, or that you don't feel good when you go, or that you're not happy in general, but you stay there because the paycheck is predictable and it's stable. So, you're staying there at that job. Or repeating the same emotional reactions because they feel known. So the same patterns because maybe you feel like you don't know what else to do and you have done it and this is the way you know and you know just who you are. This is who you are and you've done it this way and that's that. That's certainty. Or resisting change, even when your intuition is begging you to move on from the situation or move forward in a new direction and you're just fighting it, that's certainty. And for some people, certainty looks like control. And for others, it looks like numbness. So, scrolling, overeating, overworking, staying busy so you don't feel anything. That's certainty, okay? So let's talk about something delicate, which is negative certainty strategies. We're going to go through this together. Here's where certainty quietly becomes a prison in a person's life. So if you hear this or find yourself saying these following examples, these are negative certainty strategies. So, first one is, at least I know what to expect. Or, it's bad, but hey, it's familiar. I know what to expect. Or, I can totally survive this version of pain. I've dealt with it before. I know what it is. See, for some, familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. And that sentence alone explains why people stay way too long in situations or relationships or places that they really shouldn't, and why people resist growth even when it hurts their own good, or why people sabotage opportunities that fall in their lap over and over and over again. So, now that we've talked about that, let's talk about positive certainty rewiring. See, healthy certainty is internal. It's how you talk to yourself, and it sounds like this: I can handle discomfort. It's totally okay. I can roll with it. Or, I trust myself. I trust myself in this situation that I have the best interest at heart and I'm going to make the best choice I can at the time that I'm making it. Or, I don't need control to feel safe. I am able to move as I need to be safe. All right. Those are some examples. And positive certainty rewiring is built through self trust, emotional regulation, nervous system safety, and keeping promises to yourself. That is a big one. Keeping promises to yourself. I think when keeping promises to yourself, you're also going to need some healthy boundaries, right? Healthy internal boundaries and also inner grounding rituals. Those are really good. There are so many. This is like another show topic, but there are several ways to ground yourself and to recenter yourself. So when certainty comes from you, life no longer has to behave perfectly. All right. So that's certainty. Now, need number two is variety/slash uncertainty. So when I first learned this, my first thought was, okay, that is the complete opposite, but it's a little different. All right. So variety slash uncertainty is the need to feel alive. So when you say to yourself, I need to feel alive, variety is the need for stimulation, change, surprise, and novelty. So, like I said, this need is often misunderstood. Variety doesn't mean recklessness. No, 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 no. Don't go recklessness on me. It doesn't mean getting into trouble. That's not a need. Variety means feeling alive. It means aliveness. And here's the part that made sense to me. Without variety, certainty becomes suffocating. So, do you see how certainty and uncertainty live in harmony now? We don't want to live a life that feels like suffocating, right? I mean, I know I don't, so that's for sure. So, let's talk about real life variety slash uncertainty patterns. You might crave variety if you get bored really easy. For example, I know my kids do. If you get bored really easy, this might be your strong one. Or if you love starting things but struggle to finish, or calmness feels uncomfortable, right? That one's kind of tricky, but calmness feels uncomfortable, or you're addicted to the emotional high of chaos, which I think I am slightly guilty of myself, if I'm being honest here. I love doing different things. Okay, many people confuse anxiety with excitement. The nervous system doesn't always know the difference. I have had so in this, I have read so many articles that say that anxiety and excitement fire off the same area in the brain. So I have told myself so many times when I'm feeling like it may be anxiety or I may have anxiety coming on, I just get excited. And I'm just thinking this in my head and I'm saying this. I'm saying, I am just excited. I am just excited. This is an exciting experience. That is my inner self talk that I do sometimes to calm my nerves down. So there's that. So let's talk about negative variety strategies. Unmet variety often turns into drama. So, do you know the people that just crave drama in their life? I do. So, this is how they are meeting this need and their personal negative strategy. So, number one, drama. It could also be through conflict or emotional roller coasters or self sabotage. I know people that are in this habit. And I also have had clients that I help see the light of this one, and last minute chaos or toxic relationships too. So, chaos creates stimulation when peace feels empty or boring. Now, keep in mind that some people grew up in environments where calm meant danger, right? It meant that something was brewing or something was going on. There is a saying that says the calm before the storm, right? This is what I refer to when I think of this need. So their body learned to associate chaos instead with safety. So let's talk about positive variety rewiring. So healthy variety looks like creative exploration or traveling. So, those of you that love to travel, this might be one of your top needs. Learning new skills, physical movement, intentional challenges, and play. So, variety doesn't need to destroy your life to make you feel alive. And at the same time, you can meet this need in both a positive way or a negative way. And both roads lead to the same destination here. All right. Moving on to the third human need, which is the need for significance. So the feeling of, I need to matter, right? Significance is the need to feel seen, it's the need to feel important, and the need to feel valued. Every single human wants to know, I count. I count in my family. I count in this circle I'm in. I count in this world. I matter. I'm not invisible. I am important. People need me. People love me. This need is often formed early, especially if love was conditional and it just wasn't given out. Like if you had a parent or caregiver that was cold to you, that this is where it comes from. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about real life significance patterns. Significance shows up as overachieving, perfectionism, people pleasing, comparisons. And this one I think is so easy to do. I think it's so easy in our world that we live in right now to compare ourselves to others, living in this age of social media. It's so incredibly easy to do just to compare our lives because everybody's always posting all the time, right? Including me. I mean, I'm guilty of this myself. Everybody is always posting. It's so incredibly easy to compare our lives with our neighbors just to keep up with everything, right? Also, needing recognition. So, if you or someone you know values recognition, significance may be a high priority need for them or for you. Or feeling worthless without productivity. So, if you're not productive, you're not enough. And I feel like a lot of women fall into that one right there. Like, if we're not just doing, with the kids or jobs or all that, we're just not enough. I've seen that in my practice. And yeah, that's a real life significance pattern. So, here are the two different roads to get to significance. Some people chase significance through success, right? And others chase it through suffering. And either route you're on, the need for significance will be met. Now, here's something interesting and worth thinking about. Pain can become identity when it earns attention from those around you that you're seeking validation from, like your spouse, your kids, your family, your friends, etc. So let's talk about negative significance strategies. This can be used if you value significance, but go about it in a negative way. All right. This may sting, or you've known people like this. Okay. So, number one, victimhood, self criticism, overworking, being the strong one, creating conflict, needing validation to feel okay. And here's something important to note: when significance comes from the outside, peace never lasts within you. So let's talk about positive significance rewiring. Healthy significance comes from self validation. All right. So owning your voice. So not needing anyone's permission or approval. Purposeful expression, celebrating your growth, celebrating integrity. You don't need to prove your worth. You need to recognize it. All right. You are worth it, totally worth it. You just need to see it for yourself. And I think significance is such a powerful human need that can go well or it can also crash and burn, right? Significance is a really powerful one. All right. Moving on to the fourth one. The fourth one is love and connection, the feeling of I belong. So, this need is about intimacy, belonging, and emotional safety. Connection is not optional for humans, it's biological. See, even as babies, we need the connection of our mothers, right? And not only humans, I mean, animals in general need connections of our mothers. So even as babies, we need connection. I think we know what love and connection means. I think it's self-explanatory. So let's talk about real life connection patterns. Unmet connection looks like codependency, overgiving, fear of abandonment, losing yourself in relationships, and avoiding vulnerability. And here's the kicker with love and connection: many people mistake attachment for love. That's a really hard one. It happens and it's just part of the human needs. So, let's talk about some negative connection strategies. What are people using when they connect negatively? I'll give you examples. Number one, trauma bonding. So, trauma bonding, talking with others over something that's negative. That's a negative connection strategy. Also, emotional manipulation, staying where you're not respected. Ugh, that one. Staying where you're not respected. That one can hurt. Okay. Self abandonment to stay connected. Connection without boundaries is not love, right? You need to love yourself, I think, more than anything else. And being connected and they're just stepping all over you, no, ma'am. It is survival, or sir. We definitely don't want to stay in this negative space. So, how do we fix that, right? Let's talk about it. Positive connection rewiring. Healthy connection starts with self connection, right? Healthy connection starts with yourself. So, get in touch with yourself, learn your boundaries, list your boundaries. Those are so important. Boundaries are so important. And also emotional honesty. It's time to get honest with yourself. It's 2026. And also safe community. I just had a talk with a woman this morning about how my networking events are her safe community. And I absolutely love that. If you're listening, you made my entire morning. I won't say her name on here, but that made my day to have a safe community for women. Loved it. I was not expecting that this morning, but made my day. Okay. So, what human need do you think that was? All right. So, bottom line on love and connection is that you cannot connect deeply with others if you abandon yourself. All right. So, these last two needs, these are considered the quote higher needs of the human needs list. So, basically, if you have your first four fulfilled, you're going to start to look at these last two needs. Let's start with need five. Need five is growth. So, this is when you say to yourself, I am evolving, right? So growth is the need to expand, to learn, to evolve. And without growth, your soul feels restless. So now you can ask yourself, how do I know I'm in this growth space? Well, let me tell you. Real life growth patterns, you might crave growth if your life feels dull or you feel stuck or you want more but feel guilty about it, or you're outgrowing old identities. That one I think is going on for people that are in midlife. I think they're outgrowing old identities. So, how do humans fulfill this negatively? Negative growth blocks can include comfort addiction. So, your personal comfort zones, you never get out of them. You're always in your little bubble. That's comfort addiction. Fear of judgment. So, you don't want anybody to judge you, avoiding discomfort, or staying small. So, pretty much comfort feels safe until it suffocates you. And when it suffocates, that's when you crave growth. So, let's talk about positive growth rewiring. Growth is built through learning, coaching, therapy, conscious discomfort, emotional healing. See, growth stretches the nervous system, but stagnation erodes the soul. And finally, the last human need, the sixth one, is contribution. Now, this is when you say to yourself, my life matters beyond me. Aw, I love this need. Let's talk about it. Contribution is the need to give, to serve, to create impact. This is where meaning lives. It's in contribution. So let's talk about the contribution patterns. People feel most fulfilled when they help others, or when they lead. Think about all the leaders in your community. They probably have a high contribution need, and this is one of their needs. Or they give without expecting anything in return. Do you know those people? Those people are awesome. When they give without expecting anything in return and creating change. So change in either in their circle, their family, their friends, their community, right? Those are real life contribution patterns. Now, negative contribution strategies. Let's talk about that. Here are the contribution traps because remember, these needs can be met both positively and negatively. Okay, so what are they? Let's talk about it. Overgiving, burnout, martyrdom, self sacrifice without boundaries, all of these. And I'll admit, I've personally done every single one of these. I've done them. So boundaries are really important here. Boundaries, Jessica, I'm talking to myself here. It's okay. I've learned the hard way and I'm okay now. Moving on. Bottom line is on negative contribution is giving from emptiness creates resentment. All right. On the flip side, positive contribution rewiring. Let's talk about that. Healthy contribution comes from overflow, right? So pouring from your cup because you can and not because it's draining you. And also purpose and aligned service and sustainable giving. All of that is contribution. So remember, with contribution being your need, they're the sixth human need, you're not meant to save everyone on this planet. You're not. You're meant to serve from wholeness inside of you. Wrapping this up for you, here's a truth most people will never learn. You're not stuck because you lack motivation. If you're stuck because your needs are met in outdated ways and they're not serving you anymore. Those outdated ways got to go. Got to go. Awareness creates choice and choice creates freedom. And you don't need to become someone else. You truly don't. You just need to meet yourself more honestly. And let this episode land slowly for you. Return to it if you need to. And I want you to notice your patterns and make sense of them because it's something that I went through and it's great. It was great to really look at myself and see my patterns. And I would love that for you too. Because when you understand your needs, you stop fighting yourself and you start leading yourself instead. And that is priceless. That is empowerment. My name is Jessica Cherry, and this is She Will Empower. It's your space for truth, tools, and real transformation. No fluff, no bypassing, just the work that actually changes things. You can catch brand new episodes every Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on KWVH 94.3 Wimberley Valley Radio. And of course, you can listen anytime, anywhere on your favorite podcast platform. Just search She Will Empower, and I'll be right there waiting for you. And if you're an early riser or you're trying to become one, come hang out with me every Tuesday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on the Wake Up Club on Wimberley Valley Radio. It's cozy, it's fun, it's full of great music and real conversations. And honestly, it's one of the best ways to start your morning feeling grounded, connected, and a little more alive. If you're here in Central Texas and your nervous system feels fried, overwhelmed, or like you're running on fumes for way too long, I would love to see you in person at Lone Star Sound Baths. Just search Lone Star Sound Baths on social media and I'll pop right up. I guide immersive sound bath experiences designed to help you soften, settle, and truly reset your mind, your body, and your spirit. It's one of the most healing offerings I provide, and serving our community in this way is something I deeply love. And you can also connect with me through Ladies Lifestyle Network Hayes County, where I host monthly empowerment and networking events across the Hill Country. These gatherings feature powerful speakers, local nonprofits, incredible women owned businesses, and some truly beautiful venues. Women come to these rooms to grow, to be seen, and to rise together. And I've watched lifelong friendships and game changing business connections form right before my eyes in these rooms. And if you want a more personal look behind the scenes, motherhood, entrepreneurship, healing, real life as it unfolds, you can find me over on social media at Life of a Cherry Wife. Truly, thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you for showing up, for doing the work, and for choosing growth even when it stretches you. And before you go, I want you to do one small thing for your future self, even something tiny, because tiny moves add up. Tiny moves create big impact, and tiny choices compound. And sometimes it's that one small decision that becomes that moment that changed everything for you. Tiny moves create big impact. So stay powerful, stay grounded, stay connected, and have the most peaceful, amazing start to your week. I'll see you next time. Bye.